Today we're going to talk about how I shot my short film Aftermath, and we're going to do like a breakdown of the lighting, the composition, the sound design, the story that a lot of you felt was lacking, and I do agree I could probably have told it a little bit better, but hopefully this video will give you a little bit of clarification on that, because there is a couple of things to tell, Anna, but yeah, let's get to it. I just want to say thank you to Epidemic Sound for sponsoring this video and making the Aftermath short possible, because their sound library and their music that is on their site is just insane. I've been using the personal plan now for I think it's like 4 years, and I love it. You know, the sounds that you can get in like super high quality is just insane, and the music, like, you can download the stems and stuff like that, and the best part is that you don't have to worry like about getting any like copyright strikes or that your video is gonna be demonetized. No matter how viral your video goes, like it's gonna be safe. So if you're a creator and you want to have an unlimited access to over 30,000 songs and so many sound effects, then you should definitely use Epidemic Sounds and their personal plan. And if you're signing up using the link down below, then you will get 30 days for free. That is kind of cool, right? Huh? So Aftermath is my first short film that I've ever done, and I gotta say, I'm really proud of the outcome, but there is a couple of things that definitely could have been better, as you guys surely mentioned in the comment section. Story. But again, I'm really proud of the outcome, and I do think that me and Oscar managed to like carry our vision onto the different shots that we managed to take. And I'm also gonna add that this is Oscar's second time actually acting on camera, so I do think he did one really good job going into the character for only been like acting twice. So the whole process of shooting the short film Aftermath basically started with me writing down the whole concept in a Google Docs document so that I could like keep on track of my ideas that I had and what kind of like premise that I want to have of the story in the video. And writing down like a shot list is something that I do for most of my videos that I shoot that includes some sort of storytelling. And it's also something that I recommend you to do, because it's way easier to like go through that shot list than just coming up with your shots that you want to have when you're on location. So I decided to shoot the entire short film on the Sony a7 III and the Sony a7R III, because those are the cameras that I currently own, and I didn't want to like rent a camera to be able to shoot this short film, because I also want to test out and see if these cameras would be able to like deliver a film look if you like use them in the right way. And I gotta say, I do think the outcome looked really professional and way above like what I thought it would look. So one of the biggest challenges with making Aftermath was that we needed to find like a location that would fit like the post-apocalyptic setting that we wanted to have for the short film. And the location that we managed to shoot this in was actually something that we managed to like get a hold of through acquaintances and friends. And the fun thing is that it's an old like I don't know how you say it, but it's an old factory that is completely deserted, and there's like 25,000 square meters that is totally empty. This location is so insane when it comes to shooting a video like this. I mean, there's so many places where you can shoot stuff and just make it look interesting. Oh. This is definitely one of those places where you don't want to be like alone in the evening and you suddenly hear a sound and then you're like, oh! I think we had like about 12 hours in total on location that we could actually shoot, and we were actually able to use that entire location for free. So we didn't pay anything to use that location or shoot there or anything like that, which is super dope. So thank you so much to the owner of the property. When it comes to like the budget of short films, there's basically two ways that you can calculate it. One is going to be like with all the gear that I've already paid for. Two is going to be like the actual money that I had to invest to make this short film. And the amount of money that I decided to set like as a fixed budget for this short film was $1,500, and the majority of that money we actually spent on the props and the outfit that Oscar is wearing. So I think that cost somewhere around like $800 or $900 in total, and then the rest of the money we actually spent on food and then on hotels, so we could have like an extra day on location. All right, so this is day 2 of recording of Aftermath, and yesterday was extremely exhausting, and I wasn't really able to record the behind the scenes together with the shots that I wanted to have for the movie because I wanted to prioritize the Aftermath short. All right, guys, it's too dark to shoot in behind the scenes for these shots that we're doing here. So hope you have some understanding for that. But I still think I got some good behind the scenes shots that we can include in this video. Oscar, how do you feel about day 2?
I'm feeling very tired.
Action heroes never sleep, säger de. Here he comes. The store himself. Hello.
Coffee time.
One of the biggest challenges that we had shooting this was that we didn't have any electricity on the main floor where we were supposed to shoot the majority of the shots. The fun thing is that so far in the entire film, everything that we've shot, we've only used 2 lights, and that is the light on the actual gun and then one of the Nanlite Pavel tubes 30C. So that's pretty impressive so far. Gotta say, the Sony is doing one hell of a job keeping the image looking good, even when you go up to ISO 12800. That's pretty insane. And that is also the reason why most of the shots are shot at 1.4 and 1.8 respectively, because we didn't have the possibility to rig up this huge lights that would give us this perfect lighting setup. We only had the natural lighting and the Nanlite Pavel tubes that we could play around with. Even though I would have loved to be able to shoot everything at ISO 800, that was simply not possible due to many dark places that was on the floor that we were shooting the majority of the stuff. So one of the thoughts that I had with this short film was that I wanted to have the majority of the shots to be cinematic, feel like they are really well executed and stuff like that, and then I wanted to have a little bit of Peter Lindgren B-roll style incorporated into that footage. And to get that cinematic feeling into the shots, I wanted to shoot majority of them in 25 frames per second. I actually used the DJI Ronin S to help me to get that cinematic feeling into the videos. But I didn't use the Ronin for the entirety of the shoot because, for example, when Oscar was running, I wanted to have the intensity and stress feeling of him running, chasing someone. So that is where I had the camera handheld instead and try to run back and shake the camera at the same time to give it that stressful feeling. And I actually did add a handheld effect to some of the gimbal shots of Oscar running as well to give it that more intense feeling instead of just a gimbal following his feet. So there is this one shot that we were super lucky to get, and that is the pigeon flying through the room. It just looks so good. And the fun thing is that we walked around in this abandoned factory trying to find good settings where we could shoot, and then we got to this room where it was golden hour. The sun was coming straight in through the windows, and there was 6 or 7 pigeons. And as we entered into that area, all the pigeons fled to one room that had one of these big holes above the door. And I mean, pigeons in slow-mo always look good, so I decided to go in there, try to grab some shots. And then Oscar came and said you know what, I'm gonna try to scare it out, so see if you can get a shot through the door. And I was okay. And then Oscar started waving around the soft air gun, and then I was pushing the camera forward through the door opening, and then the pigeon flew out and we got that perfect shot that we wanted. So that was just that entire shot was just pure luck. One of the biggest thing in the short film is definitely the sound design and the sound effects, because that was the main storytelling component that I want to have in this video. So basically all the sounds that you hear in Aftermath is just pure sound effects. I think the only on-camera sound that you hear is when the can is rolling up from the camera. Other than that, it's just everything is taken from the Epidemic Sound library. One of the reasons that I think sound design is so much fun is because you gotta be creative with it, and to get that perfect feeling to your video, you're gonna be adding layers upon layers of sound design to get that right ambient feeling and different sounds everywhere. And usually what I start with when making a video like this is that I start with ambient sound, and in Aftermath I want to have some wind gusts, you know, some feeling of that the place is abandoned, so it was And that's why I went on to Epidemic Sound and tried to find like good ambience for wind, abandoned places, abandoned factories, and see if I could find something that would fit the scenario. And since we had like this huge area that Oscar was walking around in, I also wanted to make sure that the sounds was having the perfect kind of reverb to them. And for example, when Oscar is walking, you can hear the footsteps being like. But if you listen to like the original sound that we downloaded from Epidemic Sound, it's gonna sound like this. So instead of just adding that onto the video and then be done with it, I wanted to make sure that it actually sounded realistic. So that is why I added like a reverb and made sure that the reverb actually cleaned out the footsteps and made it sound like the footsteps is actually coming from where Oscar is walking. So when it comes to the storyline of Aftermath, I kind of like want to dive into that because there was a lot of you that picked this short film apart and saying that it was only B-roll. And while I do see that now, like in hindsight, but there is actually a storyline that I had like in my mind that I wanted to convey that I think turned out pretty good. So basically the whole premise of the short is that Oscar is already in the aftermath of the outbreak that has been. So the reason that he's in there is because he is hunting for something that is in there, but what he doesn't know is that that thing, or whatever it is, like an infected or something, is watching him. And that is something that you can see in the beginning of the video when like the camera is peeking out, seeing Oscar at the window. And just after that, like something drops and you can hear that if you're watching it with headphones, like there's someone roaring in the background and there's something falling, and then Oscar grabs his machete, walks up to it, and then it's like, who's there? And then the whole thing starts. He sets out to hunt for this thing, but he doesn't really know that that thing is actually watching him the entire time. So we're gonna add an Easter egg to this video where it's gonna be like Oscar, who is walking around with a flashlight. He's gonna find a cap, and this is gonna be the forge cap, but we're gonna like make this dirty, and then we're gonna like put this together with the camera over like towards the edge of the room, and then he's gonna find that, and it's gonna be an Easter egg that I'm actually in the movie. Kinda good. This looks like it's been here for a while, right? And the whole premise of this video was that I wanted to have the sound effects to tell the story that was going on instead of like having any dialogue or anything like that. There was this one scene that got lost mainly due to YouTube compression, and that is this scene where something is running in the background. And that is something that a lot of people probably didn't see because they were watching on cell phones where the black areas are really black, so that like totally got lost in the compression of YouTube. And the whole premise of the reloading scene isn't that I wanted him to like walk around with an empty magazine. It's basically that I wanted him to like, the gun is jamming, and that is why like when he clicks, you can hear like, and then he bangs the gun and then inserts a new magazine and reloads, and then like he sets out for the hunt. So that is like my vision of the whole thing, but I didn't like convey it properly in the storytelling with the visuals. So a couple of key takeaways that I've learned from shooting this short film is, one, of course, gonna be the story, and that you're gonna be able to like convey the story in the right way and be able to tell the story and keep your viewers engaged all the way through without losing them somewhere along the way, because that is basically what happened with Aftermath. Like there was some of you that got the story all the way through, but some of you didn't really get caught up into the story and didn't really like know where the story was going, which is totally understandable. So like the whole storytelling aspect is really important when you're making a short film, and definitely something that I need to practice on in the future instead of just shooting my regular B-rolls. Another takeaway that I have from this is definitely that you should take your time when making a short film, and take your time like being on location, and maybe even go back if you need to go back and shoot like some completing scenes. And when you're editing, that is definitely where I need to be able to spend more time, because like the editing process was going a little bit too fast. I was really eager to get it out there, and it probably could have been even better if I actually like sat back and took my time. But again, since one of my like main incomes is from like posting YouTube videos, that was also why I felt the like stress of actually pushing it out. So if you have the possibility to actually take your time and like just like sit back, watch your edits, and then see if you're gonna have to reshoot some scenes, maybe remove some shots, maybe like not having as fast-paced edit, or maybe like time the music a little bit better or something like that. That is gonna be really important for you for the final end product and for like the storytelling aspect of the whole video. But the biggest takeaway with making a short film, especially like the one with Aftermath, and being a YouTuber, not having gone to film school and being my first short film that I've ever shot, is that I tried and I had a blast doing it. And that is definitely gonna be the most important thing if you're thinking about making a short film. It's not gonna be like you're gonna create this masterpiece that is gonna be like the next Lord of the Rings, or I don't know, the next Interstellar, but it's gonna be like, try to shoot a short film and then post it out there, make people like watch it and see where you can improve, but most importantly, like have fun while you're doing it. Because I think one of the biggest things that is holding me back from doing more projects like this is because I'm thinking too much about like what other people is going to think about the project and what other people is going to say about the short film or the whole video that I'm making. But like in the end, I had a really good time shooting this with Oscar, and it was a blast, like coming up with the idea, writing down the storyboard, coming up with the different shots, going on location, rigging everything up so that we could have like the Ronin, the cameras, and trying to find the composition in the different frames that I want to have in the video, and see how I was able to like convey my storytelling into a longer sequence than the ones that I usually post. And this is officially the wrap for Aftermath. It's been really good at shooting at this location. It has been so intense, and there's so many good places where you can like literally rig everything up. So it's been awesome, and I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. And if you did, do give it a thumbs up, because that would be highly appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed, that'd be highly appreciated as well. So make sure you hit that. And Peter from Sweden out.